Good morning, or whenever you're watching this. I am very excited today because we are going on another cruise. It's not a Disney cruise this time, despite the fact that we're the two Disney guys. We decided we wanted to try something a little different for a couple of reasons. One thing is, it's pretty much almost the exact same weekend as it was last year that we went on our Disney cruise. And if we did it, then it would have been pretty much the same boat, the same cruise, the same stops. Although last year we didn't stop at one place because the pandemic was still going on and we couldn't get into Nassau. So that'll be something new this time. But we felt like there'd be diminished returns doing this exact same thing again. And I know some people love that, right? Like they just love to do back-to-back cruises. They love the same ships. That's fine. We're not necessarily against anything like that. It's just we wanted to try something different. So this time we're doing a Royal Caribbean cruise. It leaves from Miami instead of Port Canaveral, and that ended up being a really good idea. Not that we knew at the time, so we can't take any credit for it because the hurricane is in Florida right now. And there's a lot of uncertainty about this trip when it came to that, but everything seems to be working out okay, and that's a good sign. We were originally planning, when it comes to cruises, we usually fly in the day before because we don't want to have our vacation leaving without us if we have some kind of plane trouble, right? And, you know, hurricane could be plane trouble, so we were a little worried about that. We were originally planning to fly into Orlando, do a day at Disney, and then drive down to Miami, stay the night, and then go to the cruise in the morning. But since the whole hurricane was happening, we ended up not flying into Orlando because the Orlando airport was closed and Disney was closed yesterday, a Thursday when we were planning on being there. So we flew directly into Miami, which ended up being no problem at all. There wasn't no problem with the flight. The flight was a little bit late, but that's just because it got in a little bit late, not because of any weather issues. And so we spent yesterday running around Miami. We did a food and culture tour of Little Havana, which is pretty cool. I'll put some pictures of that here, of some of the food that we ate and some of the pictures that we saw. Just a lot of different, learning about the culture, learning about the food. It was very interesting, actually. Our tour guide was great. The food that we had was great. We decided to try everything, even though we're not always into every kind of food. Like, I don't like seafood that much except for shrimp and salmon sushi. And but I still tried the mussels and the clams and the squid, and they were fine. I didn't hate them like I thought I would, so maybe that's growth. And then last night, we did a harbor cruise, looking at millionaires' homes in the harbor, and then looking at the Miami skyline as well. And so I didn't care as much about the millionaire homes. That was interesting enough, but if you've seen my videos before, you know I like boats. And we don't do a lot of boaty stuff in Colorado, so whenever I get out to an ocean, I enjoy doing boat stuff. And I know we're going to be on a ship, but, you know, being out on a boat like that is different. So anyway, it is a Friday morning. Our boat leaves, well, our check-in time is at 10:30 in the morning. It doesn't leave until the afternoon. It's about 8:10 right now. We're going to get some breakfast at the hotel. Then we're going to hop an Uber or a Lyft over to the port so that we can then check in and get on the ship. Everything still seems to be going okay, crossing our fingers that it continues to be that way. The weather in Miami is great. Like yesterday was maybe a little bit windy. It was overcast, but it didn't really rain, and the temperature was in the mid-80s. It was a pretty good day. We were worried again, even if we were here, what was the weather going to be like, because the hurricane was further away, but you know, there's still all the areas around the hurricane that are affected, and no, it didn't seem like Miami was having trouble at all. So yeah, come and join us on our journey on our Royal Caribbean cruise on the Freedom of the Seas, going to the private island, Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and then to Nassau and the Bahamas. We grabbed a Uber, or I'm sorry, a Lyft from our hotel, drove straight here to the terminal. We got off the Lyft and put our bags out, and a guy grabbed them and we tipped him for that, and they'll handle those, so we'll be reunited with those at our room later. We do have a carry-on that we brought with us, which is just a backpack. A few things like essentials in it, plus we put some bathing suits in it, so if we decide we want to change and swim before we have access to the bags, then we can do so. Because you'll get access to your room around like 1:30, but your bags may not get there until hours after that. So you should always have a bag on you for the things that you want to carry, things you want to have on you to carry with you on the first part of the cruise. So then we went through and checked in, and then we went through security, which was very easy. Then you come up the escalators, which you can see over there by the back. You probably can't see those, but where that screen is are escalators. And then we're coming into this area here where the people who have the key, like we are all seated, and we all get on the ship first once it opens up, which is pretty cool. Last time we went on a cruise, it was a Disney cruise, this time last year, and the pandemic was still going on, so they were limiting the number of people on the cruise. So there was about 25% of people, so rather than 4,000 and some, it was a little over 1,000, and it was amazing because it was not hard to get onto anything, right? Like, nothing was ever full, nothing you did had a long line. It was amazing. Well, now we're out of that. I mean, we're not completely out of the pandemic. I think we're going to be dealing with COVID forever, but they've relaxed those restrictions. So now there's going to be 40-something hundred people on the ship. So it's going to be busier than it was last time. So we'll see how we feel about that. Last time we thought it was amazing because it wasn't crowded. If it's crowded, are we going to feel differently? Maybe, depending on what we want to do. But that's the situation we're in right now. It's very loud in here, but we're boarding now. Josh and I were the first people because we were the first ones to arrive with the key, which is cool. Oh, okay. This is like a switchback to get onto the ship. Oh, this is very exciting. Made it onto the ship. There's the Royal Theater. Here are some beautiful stairs. And then it looks like a high-end hotel, right? Like, check that out right there. And then over here is Izumi, which is one of the restaurants you can pay extra for. We almost did that, and I haven't decided if I regret or not doing that. We bought it and then refunded it because we thought, well, this is our first time here. Maybe we should just stick to the main dining room. We can always change that and get it now if we want to. And then this is the Schooner Bar, which is awesome. They do a piano bar here later in the evening that I actually would like to check out. So there's the Casino Royale in there. And there are some steps that lead to the promenade from there. Let's go check that out. Decided to get a pina colada once I got on board because that's my preferred drink on vacation. And it's pretty amazing. Josh got a Vanta tonic. That's his favorite drink. Mine is actually an amaretto sour, but on vacation in the Caribbean, I enjoyed these instead. We're in the casino now. I'm not sure if you can actually play yet because usually you can't play when you're in port. I don't know. That's the rules I heard. But they have regular like tables, you know, and then they have the slot machines, which is pretty cool. The only cruise we've ever been on before, like I mentioned, was a Disney cruise, and Disney cruises did not have casinos, so this is entirely new to us. But really why I wanted to come here is I wanted to go up these stairs to the promenade. Josh and I are not big gambling people, though we might come check it out and try a few games, but I want to go check out the promenade, which is like a little mini mall on the ship. Here's the promenade, and a little right said Fred doing I'm Too Sexy. So there are shops here, there are restaurants here. Some of them are part of your food plan, like I think the pizza place over there, Sorrento's, is part of your plan. But if you wanted to get, say, Ben & Jerry's, which I think is down that way, I could be wrong, then you would pay extra for that. They do have ice cream on board, like the soft serve stuff that you can get, but if you want Ben & Jerry's, then you pay extra. And of course they have a souvenir shop in here too, which is not open yet. That should be opening, yeah, soon. There you go. They have a really cool vintage car here. And of course they put big teddy bears in it so people don't get in it. But isn't that pretty? I love that color too. That is just a really nice looking vehicle. Cafe Promenade is where you get like your specialty coffee, right? Like it's Starbucks branded, even though it's not Starbucks employees. But yeah, and they have pastries and stuff too. But yeah, so that's where you get it. We do not have the drink plan that includes that, although we would come and probably pay for some separately. And then if you wanted to book a shore excursion and you didn't do it beforehand, you could come do that here. I recommend doing anything beforehand because it's cheaper that way. They're always running sales. Like every other day I was getting an email from them about a sale that they were running on their different shore excursions or drink packages or whatever it happened to be. So do not wait until you get on the ship to do this. Do it before you get on the ship. Isn't this gorgeous? This is amazing. So some people have rooms that look out onto the balcony, right? I mean, sorry, they have balcony, or not really balconies, but just windows that look out onto the promenade. So you see here, and you can see up there, which is pretty cool. We have a balcony room that actually looks out to the ocean, so we're not going to be seeing this, but it's pretty cool. Here's a view from the ship, this port of Miami. You can see all of the shipping containers over there. We were just out there recently, last night, on a boat cruise through the harbor. The terminal that we came in is just right down there, but you can also see other terminals. That's Norwegian Cruise Line. We saw a Virgin, I don't know if you can see this, it's pretty far out there, but there's a Virgin ship way over there. That's pretty huge. And there's another ship in dock that was, well, I don't know if this is the same one, but there was one last night that was a Carnival. So lots of different cruise companies go out of the port of Miami, but it's an active, like, commercial port too. It's not just cruise ships. And you can see that because of all of the containers out there. Our ship, the Freedom of the Seas, was refurbished last year or the year before it, during the pandemic. Anyway, they added this restaurant here, which is essentially like a Chipotle in a way. It serves those same kinds of things, and you just come and get what you want. So you can make burritos or tacos. I forget what the name of it is, and I don't see the name anywhere, but as soon as I remember it, I'll tell you. Found it, it's called El Loco Fresh. And they have a really cool, like, salsa station over here for when you get done grabbing the food that you want. Pretty nifty. Here's a view from the opposite side of the ship looking over Miami. That actually is very beautiful. It's what you expect when people talk about Miami. Those houses over there, I mentioned earlier that we did a tour looking at houses of rich and famous people. I think those were some of the ones that we went by. Yeah, in fact, I'm pretty sure it is. It's possible the ones over there we're looking at are, if I'm looking at this one here, that might be the one that Gloria Estefan and her husband own, but I could be wrong about that. It had a similar look to it. Anyway, take a look at that. Sorry if you're getting wind, it became windy all of a sudden. That is just a great view. Over here by El Loco Fresh, they have the kids play area, which looks like a lot of fun. I love those kinds of buckets that just continuously fill and then eventually dump all over everybody. But if I was a child, actually, you know what? Even as an adult, I love play areas like this. It's just not meant for me, and I don't want to be that weirdo in the kids play area, right? Over here is another pool area. This is sort of for all ages pool area. And this is live band, by the way, over here. There are hot tubs here and here. And how hot is the water? I'm gonna check it out. Usually it's just kind of like warm tubs because it's, you know, pretty hot out as it is usually. So let's see. Dipping my foot in. Okay, that's actually comfortable. Not like too hot, right? And then there's the other ones over here that aren't very full right now, but I'm sure in a few hours they're gonna be very full, and over the next few days. There's the lime and the coconut bar over there. That's kind of the main bar near the pools. And then there is an adult area too, where it's not for all ages. It's only for people 18 and up, and we'll go find that. Here's the adult area back here, and it's actually only, it's 16 plus, not only 18 plus, so a couple of extra years there. They have a whirlpool over here too, which hangs over the edge of the ship. So those people are already enjoying it. They're very smart, because I understand those get very full. But it hangs over the ship outside like this. I think it's called cantilevered over the ship. I could be wrong about that term, but that is a really nice looking hot tub. And can't beat the view. But this consists of the hot tub, obviously, and there's a pool area over here, a bridge that goes across the pool area, mostly to provide shade, I think. And of course, places to sit in the sun or not, depending on what you want. And then they have the solarium bar over here, which is essentially just the opposite side of where the lime and coconut bar is. Yeah, this looks pretty nice. They have some seat areas over there. You can see, like, you can get a drink and then just go sit over there kind of in the shade. Or you can just like come hang out over here where you just want to dip your feet in and it's not all that deep. And then there's an area there that's deep, only about 4 feet, 11 inches. So it's not very deep. But there's a lot of places just come sit out here and like dip your feet, for example, and not actually have to get in to swim. And I love warning signs with a sense of humor. On the other side of the bridge, it is deeper over here. It's 6 feet 1 or 11 inches. So you know, that's actually pretty deep for a pool like this. The Disney one, the deepest was 5 foot something. Like I could stand in it and my head would be above the water, but that was it. And they also have some seats over here. So like I said, you can get a drink, you can sit on your seat and hang out under the bridge. Pretty nifty. And our rooms are somewhere back here. We were kind of going that way to sort of find them, but they're on this part of the ship. To give you a heads up where we are. So there's where that bridge is we were just looking at. Here are some planes that they have here that you can see as you use the elevators up and down. That imagery on those is very interesting, very classical kind of imagery. And then there's the promenade way down there that we were just a little bit ago, so we're high up from that. I like this. I'm not sure they have it on every deck yet, but I'm going to look now that I know this exists. But there's a map of what this deck looks like. This is a Promenade Deck 5. And then sort of a map of the ship and where everything is in case you need to get oriented, which is pretty awesome. We're heading over towards our lunch right now. Here is our special key lunch. I keep telling you I'll tell you what this is, but I will. I started a video and then we had to come in here, so I'll do it later. But anyway, this is what you get. So it's in the main dining room, but the menu is from the food is from the Chops Grille, which is a separate restaurant here that you can pay to eat at. The real star of our lunch is the view, which you can see here. Part of Miami. Real nice areas. And you'll see, there's Josh there. We're in the main dining room right now. This isn't our normal seat that I'm aware of. So the way the main dining room works is it takes up 3 decks, and I think you have assigned seating essentially. Every day you come here, you're in the same seat. And it's pretty empty right now because this is a special lunch for the key members, as I mentioned, so there's not lunch being served here, just the special key lunch. But so we don't know where we're going to be. This is deck 5. I think it's 3, 4, and 5 that this spans. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure how we find out. I better look through my app to see if we know already. Josh ordered the shrimp cocktail, and he said there's 5 shrimps in there, which is a good amount.
And they're good.
I got the Caesar salad, which is very good. We also got some bread with it. There's not much left, but there's part of my roll left, and there's another piece of bread in there still. And it comes with lemonade. You can get other drinks too, but if you want to get like a Coke or like a specialty coffee or something like that, then that is extra on the ship. On Disney, the soda packages were free. You didn't have to pay anything extra. Everybody got soda. Well, I should say it was part of the package. Here, I had to pay extra for a soda package. And as a result, I also get this cup here that I can use in the Freestyle, the Coca-Cola Freestyles. So we get this free cup and we can use it all over the ship. And during meals, I can order sodas and not have to pay any extra since I already paid for the package. Here's my filet mignon, and it comes with mashed potatoes, which it said was a shareable size, but that's definitely not a shareable size, so we're getting a second one of those. And Josh is over there. We got the same thing. But yeah, these smell delicious. Oh, I wish you could smell that through this video. Josh ordered the chocolate cake for dessert, and that's what it looks like. And do you want to cut into that, Josh, and see? I don't know if it's like filled or if it's just.
I just think it's a very.
Cake. Oh, it's just a nice.
Oh my goodness!
Like loosely dense. Oh my gosh!
Cooked. I say that jokingly.
That looks incredible. I got the New York style cheesecake, which is pretty typical. I kind of regret not getting that now because it just sounded like, oh, okay, boring old chocolate cake. That is not a boring old chocolate cake. That is a very interesting new chocolate cake. I was the one who ended up with the boring old cheesecake. I do love a cheesecake though, so I'm not going to regret this, but that looks really good. And Josh will give me a bite. As I was mentioning, the main dining room takes up 3 different decks. So here's deck 5 is where we're on now. And then deck 4, and then I think the bulk of it is deck 3, because the others are essentially just balconies over it. I mean, they're pretty big balconies, but they're just balconies overlooking the main one. We're on deck 4, table 400. I don't know where that is, so, and I don't think we can go down there and look. And then there's this beautiful Beauty and the Beast chandelier going on here, and isn't this gorgeous? Like, the Disney cruise is very different. There were 3 dining rooms, so everyone is essentially split off into 3 different areas, and they were all themed differently. Where here, the main dining room is just one place. There are 4 ways to do dining here on the ship. For dinner dining is what I'm talking about. So you can choose one of 2 times. I think it's 6:30 and 8:30. Might be 6:15, but or maybe even 6. Anyway, there's 2 different dinner dine times that you go to. Josh and I chose the 8:30 one because there's less likely to have kids then. Not that we care. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. But and usually we're early eaters rather than late eaters. But we decided on the 8:30 dining this time around, and then you can choose to do what's called anytime dining, where you can just kind of show up whenever you want to, and as long as they have tables, they can seat you. There are rules around that. I didn't look into it too much because we're not doing it, but that essentially you don't pick a time, you just kind of show up whenever it's convenient for you and get in. I don't know if you have to reserve a time, like you have to, I want to come at 7 today, I want to come at 6 tomorrow, that type of thing. I'm not sure, but if that's for you, you should look into it. It adds a lot more flexibility. And the last thing you can do is actually pay for dining, right? There are 3 restaurants on board that you have to pay for on top of what you already paid for your cruise. There's an Italian restaurant, there's the steak restaurant, Chop House. That's where we got our meal from. The one we ate, even though we were in the main dining room, the food was from Chops Grille. And the last place is a sushi and hibachi restaurant, so it's Japanese. So those are the different ways that you can eat here. We thought about getting the Japanese thing, but we decided it's our first time on the ship. Let's just stick to the main dining room. Anyway, we're back in the Promenade. I don't know if you can tell because of the music. It's starting to get definitely more crowded than it was earlier when we were here. It's okay. It makes it very, very lively. Here is what our stateroom looks like. There's the front door, obviously. So, and there's a little peephole too. Once you walk in, like at least the 2 cruise ships we've been on, you have to put your card in for the lights to work for energy saving. And to your right is the closet. And let's look, see what this is like. So lots of shelves here. And then this is like hanging stuff, I think. Yeah, hanging stuff. Plus your life vests are up there at the top. And what I like about this, I saw this in someone else's video, so you have places to hang there, and then you can drop this down and have more places to hang. This comes up, you just drop it down and you have more places to put your hangers if you need to, for things like skirts or shirts, things that don't take up the whole length, like maybe a dress would, right? And then over here, more shelves. Down here is a safe if you wish to use it. Down there is a little mini fridge. And then a drawer. What's in the drawer anyway? Oh, just typical stuff. You have some plugs here, as well as a place, I don't know this yet for sure, but on the Disney cruise, this was a place to plug the hairdryer they give you because it doesn't plug anywhere else. Hairdryers tend to take up more energy. And then there's drawers over here. And then you have your TV with different channels, and give you an idea of what channels you have there. A lot of them are the Royal Caribbean channels, but a few others, National Geographic, BBC, lots of sports channels. They do have some video on demand, but you have to pay for all of it. At least every single one I looked at was $12 to rent, so no thank you. This is the bed here. You can choose to have this as one bed like we did, or you can split it off into 2 individual beds, twin beds, because that's how they come. So they can put it together for you or not, depending on what you want. So when I called them, because I was booking other stuff and I needed to talk to them, they asked me how I wanted it, and this is the configuration I said. There's also a little couch over here on this side, and some art. There's a mirror right over there. I don't know if you can tell that's a mirror, but that's a mirror. And then we have the balcony while I'm going out here. One thing about this room, I mentioned earlier that this ship had been refurbished during the pandemic, and my understanding is that this room, along with the other rooms that are on the deck we're on, were added at that time. So I don't know what was here before, but they added some staterooms, and so everything in here is relatively new when you compare it to the other piece. And then we have our balcony, which right now just overlooks the port. Not even the good part of the port, the commercial part of the port. There's the city over there. And it has a table and 2 chairs, which will be very enjoyable at some point. And then you can see how high up we are. Way down there. You see that person down there in the vest? We're, I think, at the tip top of the ship where rooms are, right? Like, I mean, there's higher parts of the ship, but we are at the top part of the ship, or the highest part of the ship where they actually have staterooms. And over there is the parking garage, and then that's the terminal down there that we came in to get here, and the gangplank that comes over. So it's pretty cool how it's all set up. We are right behind the we're right behind and 1 level up from where the adult swimming area is, so it's real easy to get to everything. Right outside our door is the door to go to the elevators, and so it's not too bad actually. But isn't that a great view from the, I mean, other than the port? It's a pretty good view. And of course, we know we're out in the sea. It's gonna be nice, beautiful sea views. Going into the restroom, you have your sink and your toilet, and then you have your shower here. And these doors kind of pull out in an arc so that you have essentially a cube, or not a cube, I'm sorry, like a cylinder to shower in. I went and stood in it. I'm 6 feet, and I fit in it as far as that goes. It'll be a little cramped, you know, trying to wash because you don't have the full motion of your arms because there's, you know, things in the way. But otherwise, it seems fine. Probably tell because my hair is, well, not quite a mess. Actually, doesn't look too bad. But it's flatter right now because we went and did the water slides. I have a GoPro, and I'll use it later on in the trip. But they don't allow you to use it on the water slides here, so I couldn't show any video of it. But there's 2 of them. They're sort of like dueling ones, right? Supposedly you can race your friend. But there's a blue one and a yellow one, and they're both configured differently. The yellow one has some loops, very tight loops right at the beginning, and the blue one has a little bit more straightaways, and then you come to some loops. It's fun. We liked both of them. I actually like the yellow one better, and Josh liked the blue one better. So that works, because if we go do that again, then we'll just hop on the ones we want, since you go 2 at a time pretty much. 1 in each one. We also went swimming at the adult pool, which is kind of awesome, because last time we went swimming on a pool on a cruise ship, it was the Disney one, and even at the deepest point, it was only 5 feet something. I think I mentioned this earlier. It was like 5, 6. So I could stand there and my head would come up, but it was pretty deep. Like the part we were at was deep. Like I couldn't touch the bottom.
Almost 7 foot.
And so yeah, it was almost 7 foot. So we'd got into the whirlpool first. It's not quite a hot tub. It's a whirlpool. It's just slightly warmer water that has jets going on it. And then I ordered a drink. Once I got that drink, we went to the pool because there's those seats there that you saw earlier in the video. We sat there and chatted with a lady who was from Wisconsin. She was there with some other friends of hers. And they were all having a good time. So yeah, it was nice. And then we came back to the room, and actually, I'm sorry, before that, Josh went and got ice cream at Sprinkles. I'll show you that later when we go buy it. It's essentially just some soft serve ice cream that you can, somebody's standing there rather than you doing it yourself. I think pre-pandemic you probably did it yourself, but now, yeah, but people could probably get crazy, so maybe not. Anyway, there was somebody standing there, and they would give you ice cream. There's chocolate, vanilla, or twist. And then on the opposite side of that, we went, what you saw in the video earlier, we decided we wanted some tacos, so we went and got a couple of tacos at the, what was it, Loco Fresh? It was. They're pretty good, actually. Not the best tacos I've ever had, but I don't think anything on this trip is going to be the best thing I've ever had. But yeah, so far we've had a good time. We don't really have a lot of plans for what we're going to do tonight. We're trying to figure that out now, because there's not a show going tonight. The shows start tomorrow and the next night. And we do want to go to the sail away party, because last time we missed that on the Disney cruise because we were at there was a show going there. They were showing Nightmare Before Christmas for Halloween time. Oh, we're getting an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, welcome aboard Freedom of the Seas. For you and any other guests who have not yet completed the mandatory guest safety briefing.
They keep reminding people to go do the safety briefing. They've been reminding us ever since we've been in the terminal. On the ground they have whatever day it is, so you can video it and be like, hey, today's Friday, and sure enough it is. Sorry it's so loud. The sail away party is happening right now. So they have a whole bunch of people down there doing some line dancing, which is pretty cool. And this is like the midship area where the pools are and the hot tubs are for everyone's consumption, not the kids area or the adults area. And in theory, this means that we're going to start moving, although I don't know if we've started to move yet. Actually, I think we are moving. No, it's very, very slowly, but I'm trying to look at something on the horizon versus something that's closer to me, and they are moving from each other. That's interesting. That's awesome. Now we're going to go and see if we can find a better place to look at it. Some people having some fun behind me getting some pictures taken. We're definitely on the move. See down below. Not that the view on this side is awesome, but you can tell a little bit better that we're moving. And there's also less people on this side because the view isn't as awesome. But you get the beautiful Miami skyline. We're definitely picking up speed now. Party's still going on. And we are picking up more speed. I'm gonna head down to the room now so I can get some balcony shots without everybody in the way, because I can't get too close to the edge. Too many people. Not a big fan of that. Boy, Miami sure is a pretty city. We are heading for open waters. Wow. Those seems like really nice places, and the police boat is throwing up their sirens for somebody over there on a jet ski. Maybe just warning him not to get in the way of a cruise ship? Who knows? Ah, there's more people coming. Or another person. Pretty spectacular though, huh? Wow. I'd love to live in those places, but I bet they are very, very expensive. I wonder if they're condos, as opposed to just, you know, apartments. There looks to be a sailboat in our path. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if you can see it out there. Looks like it's getting out of the way. Sure, it'll be fine. Wow. Look at that open ocean. Being from a landlocked state, obviously I don't get views like this very often, unless I come down here, but it is spectacular. Goodbye, expensive looking places. Those aren't very near the city either, so if you lived there and had to go in the city to work, that'd be quite the commute. the seas are very choppy right now. The captain went on board, or went on the PA system and said that they're changing course because the seas are very, very, very choppy. And you can feel it, like the ship is really rocking. When we took our first cruise, it was never like that. Right now, it's so much so that like things in the room have moved a little. There's a trash can that was under the desk that's now under the chair. So it's moved enough that some things have slid across the floor. Not too much, like it is moving. If you are prone to seasickness, I think this would absolutely set that off. Josh is prone to motion sickness and he's not having a good time. I'm feeling fine, but it is like I was standing in the room and it was like, whoa, trying to just move across. I had, I really had to balance to do it. And so we're both laying down on the bed just to ride it out. And if I fall asleep and take a nap, not a big deal. We've done a lot today already. And our dinner isn't until 8:30. And we've already done a few things on the ship. So if I fall asleep and get up in an hour or two, not going to kill me. It's still vacation, right? Not sure if you can tell in the video, but see those big waves? Those are, well, I think the ones over here we're causing, but the ones over here are the ones we're going into. And that's what's causing us to move around quite a bit. Wow, there's nothing out here. I think I see a ship or something way over there, but it is just open sea. I see something way over there too. This is not a view I get very often in my life. In fact, until I had my cruise last year, never saw this before. Any place I've ever been to that was tropical, like Hawaii when I was younger, you could look out into the ocean, but you were on an island, right? I was never so far out that I couldn't actually see land anywhere. And it is very humbling and very exciting. Imagine how much water there really is on the planet without having experienced it. Like, everybody's seen a globe, but until you see it, you just have no concept of how giant the ocean is. And this is just the Atlantic. The Pacific is so much bigger. And we're not even going that far. We're just going out to the Bahamas, which really isn't that far at all. You can see I don't know if you saw that shaking a little bit. Every so often we got a big one and it just shakes. They are not letting people in the pool right now, obviously. Look at the water churning over there and how it's gone on the deck. See how it's going? And all that stuff over there, people's drinks. Oh yeah, look over here.
It's coming up and out.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, can you see the horizon where we're just rocking? And then we're going down. And then we're going up. Oh my. It really makes for good...
No one's allowed in the water.
No one's there. It's all blocked off with chains right there. Plastic chains. Yeah, I mean, it made for some great sleeping. We took a nap. I don't know if I actually fell asleep, but I did lay down and it was pretty nice. But we're gonna head back down to the Promenade, do some shopping. We walked by this earlier and I didn't really clock it, but Josh noticed it. This is a masthead from the 17th century. Pretty cool, huh? You can see that it would sit on the front of the boat. These ships and the bottles are cool too. I really like that. There's more over there, but somebody's looking at them. And I'm sorry if this gets a little wobbly because we're definitely earning our sea legs as the ship rocks back and forth. I'm sorry this is very windy. We're outside, obviously. Just getting some video of what it's like outside. There are still some people out here. There's a couple people in the hot tub down there. This is the main area. But the lights are all on now, so I have a feeling that these would be a lot more full. Well, that's the kids area. It's all roped off right now. And, oh, by the way, these cabanas here, actually, I'm not sure if these are the ones you have to reserve. I'll show you the ones you do. Maybe you're just lucky if you get those first. There's the lime and coconut bar over there at night, very well lit up. And then here's the, yeah, the pools are closed off right now. Although the hot tubs are open, that's kind of cool. And you can see that water just churning. Speaking of which, I know you can't see much out there, but here is the ocean. I can see a couple of other ships out there, but otherwise it's just dark. Oh, there's one way out there too. So these cabanas here are ones that you can rent. I don't know if it's for the day or the whole trip. I think it's per day. So there we go. Like, these are the people that have this one, and then you just have it for the whole time, and you don't have to fight for a one of the chairs. Although I haven't really found it that hard to get on one of the chairs. Here's another one of those cabanas. Back in the main area here. It is crazy how the water is churning. I mean, granted, this is only our second cruise, but it's been hours of this. Like, I'm getting used to being able to walk on it. It's been a while since this is happening, so it's fun in a way. The boat also has a fitness center, or the ship, I should say, right? Here's the fitness center. There's lots of different machines. I really like how it's at the front of the boat and the ship, and that's where the treadmills are, so it looks like you're running straight ahead. And stair steppers, elliptical machines. There's also the bikes, exercise bikes. They have free weights over here. So yeah, there's a pretty well stocked.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, this is really well stocked. Here is the menu for the main dining room. So everything, interestingly enough, and I kind of like this, so everything, all the classics are available every night, right? Like, there's a starters, and there's all these classic ones. There's the main courses, and there's the classic ones, and so on with the desserts. But anything above that is specific to that night. So the chicken water salad, the antipasti, that's only gonna be here tonight. Tomorrow it will be different ones up here, but all of this will remain. So you always have some favorites if you want them, something to fall back on. And so here's the main courses. And then there's the desserts over here. And then down below, you can actually pay extra if you want to have something more special, right? Like the Maine lobster, the filet mignon that we had for lunch, and the Chops Grille, $17, and then surf and turf. And that's on top of, like, otherwise all of this here, and as much of it as you want, it comes as part of your cost of your cruise, but you can pay extra if you want to down there. And there's a QR code if you want to zap it. Here we are at dinner. This is our appetizers. Josh got the crab cake, and one of our table companions got the French onion soup, which I regret not ordering, and Caesar salad over here. I had that for lunch. Caesar salads here are good. I got the escargot. If you watch my last cruise video, you'll realize I discovered I loved it, and I also got the shrimp cocktail. Our dinner has arrived, and so we have the spaghetti bolognese that Josh is getting, the fried chicken, which I almost got because it sounded great. It comes with mashed potatoes and corn and a broccoli, and then that pork chop. This is a pork chop, Caribbean jerk pork chop. That looks amazing there. And then I got the polenta with cheese. That looks good too. Bon appetit, everyone. And our dessert has arrived. Josh got the blueberry and pear, no sugar added dessert. Key lime pie over there, and then we got the, what is it, walnut chocolate cake? Hazelnut chocolate cake.
It's not your thing.
This looks great. Here we are in the Royal Theater. We're about to watch a comedy show before we head back to our room for the evening, but wanted to show you. It takes up 2 decks, there and here. It's pretty nice, actually. I guess there's an orchestra first. They're pretty good. Good horn section. Here's the comedian, and we didn't know it at the time, but we rode down in the elevator with this guy. That's so cool.
Couples. Lots of couples. Young couples, they can't stop touching each other. They can't stop looking at each other. They're making that same sort of noise. They're in the buffet, feeding each other. Try this. No, you try this. Every time I see that, I think the same.
When we got to the room last night, I was very tired, so I just laid down and fell asleep. And so I didn't really do an outro. So this is Chris from the future to give you a recap of yesterday. Yesterday was a little rough on the ship. Like, getting to the ship was all fine. Getting on the ship and having our lunch, like, you saw that was all fine. But the ship never stopped rocking. You saw obviously that in the video, but the captain had told us that he was going to move to a different course, so it wouldn't be so bad. But that is not what happened. All night long, the ship was rocking and rolling, and like sideways. And so if you were trying to walk down stairs or just walking along the just a flat path, you were getting your sea legs because you had to adjust, because the ship would move slightly and then all of a sudden it would kind of like, I mean, lurch isn't the right term. It's not like things were being thrown everywhere, but there was lots of movement, lots of dips and ups, and you really had to be careful as you walked around. And this is only our second ship we've ever been on. There was nothing like that on the first ship. We asked around, and people were like, no, it's not like this normally. I'm like, okay. I mean, it just happens to be choppy. A hurricane did come by, the last several days, and so that probably churned up the water a little bit. And so it was an interesting experience for somebody like me, because I don't have motion sickness. So I actually thought it was kind of fun in a way, but it was not fun for people like Josh, who does have motion sickness. And
although it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, but he took some Dramamine, and that helped a little bit. Having some food helped a little bit. And our dinner companions, so I want to talk a little bit about dinner companions. So we went to dinner. We were sat at a foretop, and we ended up sitting with two women who were here together. They are sister-in-laws with each other. One of them is married to the other's brother, but he didn't come along. It's just the two of them.
Girls' weekend.
And so, yeah, they're having a girls' weekend. And her name was Janelle, or one of them is Janelle, and the other one was Sam. And yeah, they were great, like perfect companions, right? We talked. She teaches school. Josh teaches college. She teaches high school. Josh teaches college. And we all had a lot to talk about, and it was a good conversation. You never know who you might sit next to when you're on a cruise and they put you like in a foretop or something, but we lucked out and we had them. They were doing the My Time dining, where they just can kind of show up. They wanted to get the 8:15 dining like what we have, but I guess by the time they signed up for the cruise, it was all taken, so they just sort of show up. So we may or may not eat with them again. I would love to, because I really enjoyed their company, but maybe we'll get somebody different tonight when we go. As far as our food yesterday goes, you saw the video of what it all looked like. It was adequate.
The dessert was good.
The desserts were pretty good. But as far as like my appetizers, they were fine. The meal, it was fine. Nothing was spectacular. Certainly not the best of anything that I've ever had. But yeah, so yeah, it was fine. What made us unhappy about it, though, is that the wait staff they took our order, they dropped our food off, and then pretty much never came back. Like, they'd drop our appetizers off, then we wouldn't see them again until they dropped our food off for the main meal, and then we wouldn't see them again until they dropped off our dessert. Not checking to make sure everything was okay, not refilling any of our drinks. Our waters went empty most of the night. I have the soda package, and I had one soda. I was planning on having at least one more while we were there, but nope, it was just not something that they did.
Refills.
Yeah, so pretty much two, and it took a long time too.
2+ hours, yeah.
It was 2 and some hours before we got out of there. Yeah. So it was.
We were less than pleased.
Yeah, we were not very pleased with that, and so we'll see if it's different tonight. If maybe there's just a different crowd or different people or less needy people or whatever it happens to be. And we're not even that needy, right? Like, just refill my glass every so often. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so far we've not been impressed. It's been one time though, so we'll see if that changes tonight or tomorrow night. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, thank you for joining us on our journey through our first Royal Caribbean cruise on the first day. And I will see you tomorrow, which we're in right now, because it's Chris from the future, don't forget.